Welcome to Tradutex Portuguese Lessons Podcast. Olá, eu sou a Helena, and on this episode we're going to carry on talking about the family. But before that, I just want to tell you that Tradutex Portuguese Lessons Podcast is now on Patreon. If you want to support this podcast and also get some exclusive content, you can also become a patron. Go to www.patreon.com/tradutex and learn more about it. I want to thank you to my patrons, Francine Brown, Gita Barknovitz, Philip French, Rebecca Hunt and Audrey Jenkins for their support. Muito obrigada. So on today's episode, we're going to carry on talking about the family. Remember, the family, we say familia. On the last episode, we focused on the most close family. Today, we're going to explore other relatives. So we'll start with the uncles. So the word for uncle is actually an easy one to pronounce, very short. The uncles and the aunts. We always do this. We put the masculine and the feminine together, and we get the masculine plural to include both masculine singular and feminine singular. So we have a word to say the uncles and the aunts all together, and that word is the word tios. Tios. And yes, is as easy as it seems. We say T-I-O-S. Just that. Tios. So if I want to say the uncles or the uncles and the aunts, I say os tios. Os tios. And it's a pretty regular word. So you can guess this with me if you listen to my last episode. If we want just the uncle, let's just drop the S. So instead of tios, we got the word tio. So the uncle, o tio. And yes, you're right. If I want the feminine, I just need to change that ending into a more feminine ending, a. So the aunt is a tia. A tia. If I just want to refer to the aunties, as tias. So we get o tio for the uncle, a tia for the auntie, os tios, just the uncles or the uncles and the aunties all together, as tias, just the aunties. And now let's use what we've learned on the last episode, the usage of the possessive my. Starting with the masculine singular, my uncle. My uncle, o meu tio. O meu tio. My auntie, a minha tia. A minha tia. My uncles and aunts, or just my uncles, os meus tios. My aunts, as minhas tias. This was really an easy one. So let's learn another word, the cousins. In Portuguese, it's not a surprise that we have word for masculine, male cousin and female cousin, and then all of them, or just a female. And again, fortunately, it is a regular word. So if you want to say the male cousin, we say o primo. The female cousin, a prima. I told you it's a regular word, so how do we spell primo, the masculine? P-R-I-M-O. Primo. And if you want to change it into female, prima. Just swap that O with an A and you get the female. So if I want to refer to all of them, the cousins in general, or just the male cousins, I need to use the masculine plural. Os primos. And just the female cousins, as primas. So we're dealing with very regular words today, the ones that go through the u, a, us, as process. So let's use these words along with the possessive my, starting with the masculine singular. My cousin, my male cousin, o meu primo. My female cousin, a minha prima. My cousins in general, or just the male ones, os meus primos. My female cousins, as minhas primas. Let's do another one that it's also important. We did already tios for uncles and aunts. Let's see the words for nephews and nieces. So nephews, let's do the masculine plural first, because that masculine plural includes everyone, the nephews and the nieces. So we do os sobrinhos. Okay, this is a bit of a bigger one than the other ones we did before. So os sobrinhos. We have that nhe sound that we spell with the NH, nhos, os sobrinhos. I'll spell it for you em português. S O B R I N H O S. Sobrinhos. Os sobrinhos. Okay, now it's a long one. But the good news are that it's a pretty regular word. It means that knowing the masculine plural, you can guess all the other forms. So the masculine singular, you just drop the S. O sobrinho. The feminine singular, you just need to swap that O into an A. A sobrinha. So, to recap, o sobrinho is the nephew, a sobrinha is the niece. We did os sobrinhos, that could be just the nephews or mixed nephews and nieces. And now, I think you guessed already, the nieces is as sobrinhas. Now let's do it along with the possessive my, starting with the masculine singular as we normally do. My nephew, o meu sobrinho. My niece, a minha sobrinha. My nephews or my nephews and nieces, os meus sobrinhos. My nieces, as minhas sobrinhas. Okay, let's carry on with some regular words. I know you like those. Let's do grandchildren. Grandson, granddaughter, grandsons, granddaughters, grandchildren. So if you want to do the masculine plural, the grandchildren or the grandsons for us is the same, because as always, the masculine plural could be just referring to the males or mixed group. So we say, for grandchildren or grandsons, os netos. Os netos. Let's spell it em português. N-E-T-O-S. Netos. Os netos. Knowing this one, you can easily guess, knowing it is a regular word, this one, you can easily guess all the other forms. So the grandson, o neto. The granddaughter, a neta. We did already the grandchildren or just grandsons, os netos. The granddaughters, as netas. And now I know it is a bit repetitive, but that is the idea, to go through the vocabulary over and over, along with this possessive word my, so you really let it sink in. So let's do my. So my grandson. O meu neto. My granddaughter. A minha neta. My grandsons or my grandchildren. Os meus netos. My granddaughters. As minhas netas. Okay, let's do another regular one. Okay, this time I know that it's not all of these words are completely close family, but the bright side is they're very regular words, which means that if you know the masculine singular, you can easily guess all the other forms. So the next one I want to tell you is about the brothers and sisters-in-law. So the brother-in-law, we'll start with the masculine singular, so then you can easily guess all the other possibilities. So the brother-in-law is o cunhado. Okay, maybe you've spotted that n sound, the nh sound. Cunhado. How do we spell it? Em português. C-U-N-H-A-D-O. Cunhado. That's the brother-in-law. So if I want to say the sister-in-law, a cunhada. The brothers and sisters-in-law, or just the brothers-in-law, again, is always the same situation, just a male or male and female together. Os cunhados. The sisters-in-law, as cunhadas. And now let's do what we always do. Let's put them along with the possessive my. Are you ready? Okay, so you can repeat after me. My brother-in-law. O meu cunhado. My sister-in-law. A minha cunhada. My brothers-in-law or my brothers and sisters-in-law. Os meus cunhados. My sisters-in-law. As minhas cunhadas. Another regular one for you, and let's see if you can remember this one. It's an important one. I'm talking about now my parents-in-law, father-in-law, mother-in-law. Okay, whether you like them or not, let's learn this word. So let's start with the father-in-law. The word for father-in-law is the word sogro. The father-in-law, o sogro. How do we spell it em português? S-O-G-R-O. Sogro. And good news are completely regular. So you can guess, but I will go with you. You can repeat after me if you want. The father-in-law, o sogro. The mother-in-law, a sogra. The parents-in-law, os sogros. And then the mothers-in-law in general, as sogras. Let's do it along with the possessive my. Okay, so my father-in-law, o meu sogro. My mother-in-law, a minha sogra. My parents-in-law, os meus sogros. Now, the following ones we're going to learn, they're not exactly regular, so they require a bit of memory. The word for son-in-law. The word for son-in-law is quite difficult to pronounce because of a r sound followed or preceded by a nasal. So I'm talking about the word genro. Okay, now it's a bit funny, so let's do it again. So this is the word for son-in-law. The son-in-law is o genro. By now you might be wondering how do we spell that. So let me help you. Em português, G, E, N, R, O. Let's say it again. Genro. That is son-in-law. And now the word for daughter-in-law has absolutely nothing to do with the word for son-in-law. But it is much easier to pronounce. And the word for daughter-in-law is nora. You see? Much more pleasant to say. Nora. I will still spell it for you. Em português, N-O-R-A. Nora. Okay, so you might have one son-in-law, and in that case you say my son-in-law, o meu genro. You might have sons-in-law, and notice that this one we don't have a global word masculine plural to include the female. Okay, so this one we say them apart. So if you have one son-in-law, you say my son-in-law, o meu genro. And if you have more than one son-in-law, 2, 3, we say os meus genros. And that just refers to the boys. Now, if I have one daughter-in-law, my daughter-in-law, a minha nora. My daughters-in-law, if you have more than one, as minhas noras. So they're not exactly a couple. That's why we don't have a masculine plural word to include both of them. Okay, we're nearly finishing. I just wanted to leave you with 4 important words. One is the word for husband, in case we don't know it, is the word, in case you don't know it, sorry, it's the word marido. O marido, the husband, o marido. Let me spell it for you em português. M-A-R-I-D-O, marido. So if you want to say my husband, o meu marido. O meu marido. Now the word for wife is the same word we use in Portuguese for the word woman. And the word is mulher. Mulher. Let me spell it for you em português. M-U-L-H-E-R. Mulher. So the woman, a mulher, the wife, a mulher. So it's the same word. If I want to say my wife, a minha mulher. Let's just repeat these 2 words along with the possessives. My husband, o meu marido. My wife, a minha mulher. And just to finish, one beautiful one, the words for boyfriend and girlfriend. So the word for boyfriend is namorado. Okay, it's a bit long. Namorado. Namorado. Let me spell it for you. N-A-M-O-R-A-D-O. Namorado. If you write it down, you will notice that in the middle we find the word for love, amor, em português. So it's quite a beautiful word, don't you think? Namorado, it's related to love. So if I want to say my boyfriend, o meu namorado, and girlfriend, it's just the same but with a at the end. Namorada, a namorada. My girlfriend, a minha namorada. Okay, so just before we finish, I want to go through all the words we've learned today. Okay, we'll start with the masculine plural that includes all of them, and then the masculine singular and the feminine singular. And for the cases that doesn't happen, we do the masculine singular and then the feminine singular. Okay? So we'll start with the uncles and aunts. Any question you might have, you can just go back and check the meanings. I don't want to now use the English. Let's just focus on the Portuguese. Are you ready? Os tios, o tio, a tia. Os primos, o primo, a prima. Os sobrinhos, o sobrinho, a sobrinha. Os netos, o neto, a neta. Os cunhados, o cunhado, a cunhada. Os sogros, o sogro, a sogra. O genro, os genros, a nora, as noras. O marido, a mulher, o namorado, a namorada. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Muito obrigada. Até para a semana. Tchau!